Welcome to Marcos and James, the Lisbon Pirates podcast. Good morning, Tiago and Filipos.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We
Morning, Vietnam.
Uh-oh. Now
We
we're
had to
jumping
do
right
this.
into that. You mean you're not going to do the whole long drawn out scream of the good morning? You could do the good morning Lisbon.
We have to we have to rehearse. Start rehearsing a shout. A good morning, Lisbon shout.
Well, we have Filipos here with us again for the second week in a row. We're so excited that you're here, Philippe. And
It's been a week already.
it's been a week already.
Yes.
Yes.
It doesn't feel like
flies. Time flies. It's amazing.
You liars.
Well, how's everybody today? Doing good?
Yep.
Yeah.
Much better than
Much
the
better
last
than the
week.
week
Last week?
before. Yeah, much better.
Well, let's jump right into the topic. What's our topic for today?
Well, our topic for today is how to survive 3 weeks without a phone.
Oh,
Yes.
this is fantastic.
And why did you pick that up?
Well, we had the opportunity to receive a group of American girls throughout 3 weeks in May and June. And one of the conditions for they to come to Portugal was that they couldn't bring any phones with them.
That's right.
Yep,
That's right.
So that was very impressive.
Yes. First, Mark, explain us how did this happen?
Yeah.
These 10 American girls coming to Portugal.
Right. So this is a program from California Baptist University.
Yep.
It's a university in Southern California, in Riverside, California. And it's Hannah, my wife's Hannah's old university, so she did her college degree there. And so each year, this university sends out teams all over the world. And so this year, we were privileged to be able to receive one of these teams with 10 young college students
Yep.
for 3 weeks here in Portugal. And they came to just walk alongside us, to serve us, to work with the church,
Yep.
to do some projects with us here. And it was a great trip, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
And did these particular girls choose Portugal to come, or they were, or someone else decided?
From what I understand, they I think maybe picked their top 3, and then they're actually assigned, so they didn't know. And so I think last year or maybe the beginning of this year, there was a day where they received their assignment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so they got I think an envelope, and they opened it, and it was Portugal.
Uh-huh.
And so for the first time,
Yeah,
they decided, they came together as a team and said, okay, here's the team. This is the team that we have, and we're going to Portugal. And then they began, this is so great. They began to prepare and pray for Portugal, I think from maybe January until the trip.
Really?
Yeah.
And when they were enlisting, did they know how it was going to work, like with these small but important rules? Did they know that, or it's something that they know afterwards?
No, this is, as they sign up for the trip, these are the rules that they have.
Okay. For every trip?
For every trip.
Okay.
And so as a part of signing up, they agree to the rules that are in place. And so one of the, I think, the rule that shocks everybody the most was that they could not use their phone during the 3 weeks that they're here.
I in a way, I felt surprised and I felt embarrassed because since I began using a mobile phone in the year 2000, I believe, and I wasn't.
Was that your first
early.
phone, 2000?
Yes, 2000.
Yeah.
How big
Because
was it? Was it large? Was it,
I think it was an
an-
Alcatel, something like that.
yeah.
was it a flip
Yeah.
phone?
No,
No?
it was the blue and. Do you remember those blue and black ones that they were kind of big? And I
That
grew
was
up
17 years ago. I don't
Yes.
remember.
Wow.
and I grew up as a contrarian. So all my friends, they had phones already.
Yeah.
But I began dating Ruth
Mm.
at that time, and so that we could prevent some desencontros. How would you say desencontros
What is Disney?
when you go to the wrong place or something like that, or you get at the wrong time, and
okay. So you could call each other and make sure that
yes,
you could set it up. Right?
yes, and so
We would not miss each other.
Yeah.
and since the year 2000, I never spent 1 week without a phone. I spent, I believe, 2 days one time because I forgot, and I spent 2 days without my phone, and so I felt embarrassed in front of those young girls,
Yeah.
but really inspired.
Yeah, me too. Especially when they came, they came from America for such a long place as Portugal. If if it was me, I think the first thing I would not get rid of was my phone. It would be my phone, you know, so I could get in contact with everybody. But this was part of the rules, and I think it helped them for them to get the job done here in Portugal. So,
Yeah, I think it did such an incredible thing. What it did was it helped them disconnect from back in the U.S. and connect here. And it was interesting because one of my daughters, I think it was Sahara, she commented about this, and she said, "You know, Dad, one of the interesting things about not having your phone with you is that you have to ask somebody."
Yep.
So for instance, something as simple as checking the weather.
Yep.
You have to say, "Tiago, have you checked the weather today? What do you think?" And you have to ask a national. You have to ask the field workers on the ground. And so everything about it makes you engage the people that you're working with. And isn't that absolutely brilliant?
Yes, and it's true that because they were single girls, single ladies,
Uh-oh.
all the single ladies,
all the single ladies.
Put a ring on it.
No, yes, because if they were mothers or something like that, probably it wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work,
of course.
right?
But
they had boyfriends.
And I think that's even a bigger sacrifice, right? They have all these boyfriends back home that.
And there's social media stuff because they were 18, 19, 20.
Yeah,
so. And I don't know how it works for you, but what's the more difficult thing for you when you think about your relation with your phone?
You know what? For me, honestly, I mean, I'll just jump right into here. It makes me feel important, and not having my phone makes me insecure. And that's a big problem because if my security is based on my phone or what gives me importance or what makes me feel importance, I'm in a lot of trouble because it means that whenever I want to feel important, I have to have a phone, and then also I have to have immediate access to what my phone gives me.
And what does your phone give you?
Well, I just think it gives me, there's a connection, but then it's also based on how I control things. And so it goes really deep into the inner parts of me, the sinful parts of me where I want to be in control of every moment of my life. And when I'm out of control, it's scary, and it makes me realize how much I'm not really truly dependent on Jesus for everything. And isn't that funny that a symbol of the cell phone can expose me for who I really am? What does it do to you guys?
Well, I think it gets me distracted from everyone else around me, you know. And as you said, it's a big temptation, being aware of everything that goes around in the world, basically, and to think of the idea of spend some days without the phone is really scary because I wouldn't be able to know about things. And what that tells me about me and my faith is that I'm not that into prayer and fellowship with God, you know.
Yeah.
So I think phone is let's not be misunderstood here. Phone is a great blessing, right? But we cannot idolize it. Otherwise, it'll be our God instead of God Himself.
That's right.
So
it ends up owning us, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Tiago, what about you? What do you?
Oh, in my case, it's really confession of sins because at large, my own ministry as a pastor, the public recognition about me being a pastor in great part comes out of the internet. So when I began 10 years ago, even with São Domingos de Benfica, the new church we were planting here in Lisbon, almost everything that went well, it had to be transmitted or in some way shown through the
Right.
internet.
Right.
Right
Yeah.
now, this is something for us that we perceive as a natural thing. If it's working, the internet should know.
Right.
If the internet doesn't know,
Right, we
don't
it's
know.
not
Yeah.
working.
That's right.
Of course, I'm making a big simplification, but that's why for me it runs deep. It's a problem that runs deep because in lots of ways, there are so much big blessings coming out of preaching or writing and this reaching other people that simply return with some kind of recognition.
Yeah.
That I wonder if for some reason the internet would disappear, would I feel encouraged to go on with the calling that God gave me? So it's a pretty big thing, and so it's not easy for me.
Yeah. So I guess my question this morning for you guys is how do we control the device that we have instead of allowing the device to control us? How do we use it in a way that continues to do a good job that we have here as pastors of the church, or encourage our members to use what we have? I mean, we have phones, we have computers, we have all these tools that we can use, but how do we allow ourselves to control the tool and not the tool to control us?
Yeah. Well, I think for starters, we should shut it down at night while we're sleeping.
Yeah.
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 Because first of all, I want to have a good night of sleep, and I don't want to pass the idea that I'm available all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I think we draw the sense for our lives in the way that it only makes sense if we are available every time, every hour of the day.
Yeah.
And that's not true, because we cannot do that. We are humans. We are not eternal beings. You know?
Right. I love that. We're not created to be those eternal beings.
Yeah, we cannot be at the same time everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's good for other people to know that we are not available for them, in order that when we are with them, we can be truly available to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Tiago, what do you think?
I'm thinking two things. Some years ago, you shared here in church some practices that you have in your home, in the Bosrom's home, that were very encouraging for our family, the Cavacos. And so simple things like Philippe was saying. Right now, I don't get Wi-Fi in the morning while I'm at home. I only do that when I get here.
I still do.
Church.
I confess my sin right now. I still do it.
He's helping me not doing that. And even when I come to church, I try to have the first hour just writing and meditating on the Word. So generally, I will put my Wi-Fi on about 10:30, something like that. Okay. And when I go back home, I put my Wi-Fi off when I get there, so that I can have those 3 hours till the kids go to bed without Wi-Fi.
Right.
And so simple stuff. And I would just add a book that made much difference, that made a big impact, was from Kevin DeYoung.
Crazy Busy?
Crazy Busy, yes. It helped me a lot.
Yeah.
And you, Mark?
Good. Yeah, I would just reiterate what you were saying. Just trying to develop habits to help us control the devices in our lives. And so, like you said, we've had the habit of not turning on devices or checking devices until after 9 a.m. Yeah. And it's helped a lot because we realized that what we were doing was the first thing we did when we woke up was we were checking the news or checking Facebook or checking social media. Exactly. And the reason that we decided not to do this is Hannah read an article that said, talked about the dangers of when you wake up, what are the first things you put in your mind and your heart? And if the first thing we put in our mind and our heart are the business of life, the conflict of life, what everybody is putting up on social media, all of a sudden our heart is bombarded with all of those external things. And we don't have the capacity as humans, kind of like what you were talking about, Philippe, to really sort through all that and to start our day out in the right way. And so I would just encourage even those who are listening today, to set up boundaries and guidelines in your life when it comes
Yeah.
to social media and your telephone, and really work hard to keep those,
Yeah.
and find ways to start your day with
Mhm.
prayer and the Word,
Yeah.
and allow that to be
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
driving factor of what you decide your life
Yeah.
is going to be day by day.
Yep, yep. And then again, I think we tend to forget that our faith is also a physical faith.
Mm.
So when we are looking at things right in the beginning of the day, in the morning, we are feeding our guts literally
Yeah.
with things that are going to guide us throughout the rest of the day. So if we think about faith in both a spiritual, consciously, and a physical way, I think the things we do early in the morning will be much more considered. And so, as you were saying, we have to begin our day by the Word, reading the Word, by putting our eyes in the written Word, the revealed written Word, and our hearts in God.
Yeah. One verse I quote every morning it's really called the Jesus Creed, and it's, remember when Jesus somebody asked Jesus, what's the most important commandment, and Jesus responds, to love your God with your heart, mind, soul, and strength.
Yep.
Isn't that interesting that he says heart, mind, soul, and strength?
Yeah, it begins with the heart.
Yeah. And I love how we want to start the day with focusing our heart, our mind, our soul, and our strength on loving God and loving others, instead of allowing everything to come into our lives that's going to distract us from that priority.
And for the most miserable sinners, which I'm counted on.
We're all part of that.
No, but one of the really difficult things for me is social media, internet makes me bitter. I'm a very makes me really bitter.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. And it's not about, I'm so much higher than those simpletons here in the internet. It's the other way around. Sometimes I can read a phrase from someone, and I just become I just become mad. I just become an evil person. So it's about, for me, it's about going away, running away from. And it's a struggle. It's a personal struggle.
And we tend to overestimate ourselves. That we think we can just deal with all the things that are going on in the internet and on Facebook, and that we have the right kind of attitude towards every post that we read, and we do not.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And because it's a very stupid thing, because we immerse ourselves emotionally in all kinds. It's like this crazy how would you say omnipotencia?
Omnipotent.
Yes.
Omnipotent.
Omnipotence.
Because you think you can deal with everyone saying what they want to say, and we were not wired for that. We, emotionally speaking, we were not wired for that. So, of course, that's why we just our brains simply burn out, because we are not wired to know how to handle everyone speaking their guts.
Right. Yep. That's right. That's right. And isn't it ironic, just bringing this back around to the very beginning, that a group of 10 girls from America came to Portugal and reminded us to put our phones down and
God bless them,
not to be so obsessed with social media.
Can we sing the hymn? Oh, say.
Star Spangled Banner.
No, we're taking this a little too far now. Isn't that great? I love it. I love it.
When you're in America, you have to put your
hand over your heart.
Yes. Here we don't do.
No, you don't.
No, we don't do.
We don't have a heart, so we don't. We would know where we should put our.
And we only sing our national anthem in soccer games.
In soccer games, that's right. That's right.
The only place where Portuguese people know where their hearts.
So we have to wrap it up, right?
Yes, I have a title.
Oh, good, good.
It was something that I wrote. Too much Wi-Fi will kill.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it gets,
and that is true.
The verb killing.
Yeah, that's true.
It's all about death.
Well, once again, we want to invite you to come to Lapa Church every Sunday at 11:30 a.m. We would love to have you here to continue to talk about how you can turn your Wi-Fi off and trust more in Jesus, because we all need to work on that in our lives. And also at the end of the month, every Sunday, the last Sunday of every month, we have an English service at 5 p.m. So everybody is welcome to come and be a part of what we're doing here in Lapa.
And subscribe our channel on YouTube.
That's right. Yeah, and somebody leave a comment.
Yep.
because we're going to give a prize to the person that gives the first comment. At least I'm going to.